Welcome to Memo in Them Seeker Studio Part 2. As you can see, we've decorated a little bit, make it a little more
less blue this time.
Yeah, make it a little more appealing.
Hopefully it doesn't look as much of a conference room this time around.
Yeah, we got some.
What conference rooms have you been in that look like this?
It's ridiculous.
I don't think that person knew what they were even talking about.
No.
And a podcast from a conference room sounds perfectly fine to me.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe he was looking at our old videos of The Office.
Maybe.
Maybe he was like scrolling.
And then decided to comment on this one.
Yeah, I don't know.
The one that like is so blatantly not a conference room. Whatever. We got haters. That means
I'm very
on the way
comfortable
up.
in here.
Yeah,
You like
if
it
you
in
don't
here?
have haters, then you don't have motivators.
Yeah. So while we're indoors, we're all wearing jackets.
Yep, it's chilly.
We have the door open. It's normally heated in here. So right now we have the door open for our good friend Mike Villani is off screen. He's our off-screen producer. He doesn't fit in the room, so he has to sit. He has to sit in the other side. We're in a shed. I'm just letting you all know right now. This is a shed that we repurposed to be a studio. So welcome. It's Them Seeker Studio. Give them a follow. But this is the Memo, and it's Richard Lyons, Matt Brodsky, Alex Masados. And are you guys ready to?
Never been more ready in my life.
Are you excited?
Never been more excited in my life.
There's a lot to tell. You know what I want to start off with? Something that I don't know much about, but I know you guys will know about. What's the deal with this whole Astros situation? I think that's something maybe we could get into.
It's a good
here
jumping
little
off
bit.
point.
Yeah.
Do you know the story at all?
Well, they were something with signals, stealing signals.
So they were using, this was uncovered about the 2017 World Series, which they won. A former player, Mike Fiers, who's not on the team anymore, kind of fucked up of him to come out and say this, honestly, but he went on record saying that the Houston Astros had cameras set up strategically around the stadium where they were able to pick up on opposing pitchers' signs. They basically knew what pitch was coming before they threw it, and they would kind of like figure out the sign. Then they had a system in place where they would make noises in the dugout to let the batter know, and they went undefeated in the playoffs at home and won the World Series.
That season?
Yes.
Yeah, you can see in the footage of the game, like the TV footage, you can see any time that there was a footage from a White Sox game in 2017, and any time that the catcher called the changeup, you would just hear from the dugout, and then the hitter would just know a changeup was coming, and then during the course of the at bat, the pitcher like noticed it and like was like called the catcher over and was like, "We got to change up these signs."
Yep.
Damn.
But then they had the cameras there, so even if, when they changed the signs, they were probably took them a couple pitches to figure that out, and then they used
So they
that.
were just doing it like in game.
Yeah.
Reading the signs, relaying it, all this shit.
Yeah.
So it's like Spygate kind of.
Yeah, but it's honestly worse because it's in the actual game,
Yeah.
which
Wow.
is fucked.
Just figuring out when a pitcher is tipping his pitches is just like part of the game. Like every team does that.
If you do it normally.
like figure out if a pitcher is tipping his pitches, but they just got the sign, like the literal sign from the catcher, and like relayed it to the hitter so fast that the only way that could be done is through technology.
Jeez.
So now MLB is looking into it. I saw that they were actually also investigating the Red Sox last year as well, because the Red Sox were suspected of using Apple Watches in the dugout to figure out like signs or whatever.
So I know you guys were talking that a lot of teams, they say like a lot of teams do that, like with the Spygate thing. I remember
Good throw.
people always say, "Oh, all the teams were doing it at that time." It's just Eric Mangini, like exposed them and like ruined everything, whatever. So
I mean, yeah, I'm sure, it's all like hypotheticals and like just what you think, because now we have an actual team that got caught doing it. I'm sure there are teams that are doing other things that probably push the boundaries a little bit and are, would be deemed illegal. But I mean, you can't, like, if you don't know about it, there's nothing you can do. If you get caught, then you like people drive 85 miles an hour on the highway and don't get a ticket. If you get caught, you get a ticket.
Yeah, it's only illegal
turn your
until you
knob
get caught.
a little to the left, Matt. No, on the red thing, a little bit to the left, a little more. Okay, you're good. You're too loud. No one likes you.
Oh, okay. Good.
Yeah, so I mean, like, the rules are meant to be broken, right? Like, all teams are looking for a way to get an edge, but
Mm-hmm.
unless you get caught, you're fine.
So
Astros got caught here, so we should be seeing some sort of repercussions.
So what does Beltran have to do with this?
Supposedly Beltran,
He was on the team at the time.
he was on the team at the time, and then the following year he was with the Yankees. So you got to think that
That's not true. The Yankees traded him to Houston.
no, he worked for the Yankees. In 2018.
Okay, yes.
So you got to think that during that playoff series, he was like, "Yo, guys, they do this because I was on the team last year."
Yeah. So he's just now the manager of the Mets, so everyone's thinking like if he's going to get in trouble for anything. I don't think that they're going to individually fine or suspend the players because you just have to do it to everybody that was on the team, which is kind of a lot. So I think Beltran's going to be fine, but he was just on the team at the time.
If they just suspended him.
Yeah,
or something.
that'd be whack.
That'd be a big
But I mean,
time
I was
move.
talking about this earlier. I don't know how you can suspend or hurt the Astros with any sort of punishment that would actually matter. Like money is not an issue. You can't retroactively replay those games and have a different result.
Yes, you
Everybody
can.
knows that they won the World Series.
Why not? Just get everyone back together.
That's what I was joking. Like play Yankees Dodgers World Series for 2017 championship. But I mean, look, at the end of the day, what happened. Moving forward, there's nothing that you're going to be able to do that's really going to hurt them or make it so that it wasn't worth it. They won the title.
What I was thinking, and I mentioned this in our group chat, was like take away draft picks or like reduce their international signing money because you get like a certain amount of money that you can spend on like these 16-year-old kids from the Dominican and stuff. So that would be a way to like. If I was a team, I would be like, shit.
Still worth it though.
Definitely worth it. They won a World Series. I think any amount you spend to win a championship is worth it. It's just like the cost of doing business. It's like these big banks on Wall Street that get fined like millions, hundreds of millions of dollars. They're just like, whatever.
Well, I made 500 million.
Yeah.
So
You might. I would vacate the title. Don't give it to anybody, but just like erase it from the history books. They've done that in college before, which doesn't sound like a big deal, but it was the first title Houston ever won. So now if you're just like, well, technically they still haven't won, or at least history shows that.
Act like they won.
Yeah, but you take it down, the banner down from the stadium, just erase it from the history books. Maybe wipe out the postseason stats for those players. But like it still won't matter that much. They still, like you said, they know that they won.
Season was pointless.
Yeah, like it happened though.
Yeah.
So we all lived it.
All right. Well, even when the season's over, baseball finds a way to be in my life. So
Yeah. They released all the awards this week too.
Did they?
Jacob deGrom, back-to-back Cy Young award winner.
I was gonna
Pete
hang
Alonso.
up a Mets sign above you, but
Pete Alonso won as well.
Alonso with a Rookie of the Year.
nice.
Dude, fuck whoever voted for the Braves guy
I'm sure it was like an Atlanta writer.
should just be fired, or not. He should
Was that
lose
the
his
one
vote.
One vote.
Yeah, and he wasn't unanimous because of that. The guy in the AL was unanimous, but like obviously
Who won
Pete
in the
Alonso, the guy on Houston. I don't know his name.
Gurriel.
No, not a rookie.
You said you, so I thought maybe you.
His name starts with a Y. But
Whatever.
But like really, like not that it matters technically if you're unanimous or not. It's a good thing to like point out. But how can you vote for what is it, Soroka?
Yeah.
Soroka on the Braves.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know he didn't deserve it.
He had a good season.
Stop
but
it.
Alonso was just dynamite.
Just a salty fucking Atlanta Braves writer.
Yeah. So good little award season for the Mets here. Not that they had anything to show for it really, but you know.
Hey, it's
I'll
still
take
nice.
it.
Get some accolades. Got some
Yeah,
stuff
I
to build
like
on.
to see DeGrom getting a lot of shine because
Didn't he win last year?
Yeah, back-to-back Cy Youngs. He is just incredible. So
We also need to stop giving Mike Trout MVPs. Okay, I'm sorry.
Did he
I
win
know
again?
he won his third MVP. The guy's played in one playoff series in like a 10-year career. He's not valuable. He's not valuable to the Angels enough where it fucking matters.
what a ridiculous statement.
Do something. Make the playoffs. Get your team to the playoffs. You're gonna win an MVP every year for what? They don't even come close. They are under 500 every season. He's not valuable.
That is a
The
little
team
whack.
outside of him is really bad always though,
Okay.
and they're always right around 500. Like he does.
Who was more valuable to their team, DJ LeMahieu or Mike Trout?
Mike Trout.
Really?
Yeah.
DJ LeMahieu was the reason that he was the only healthy player throughout the whole season. backpacked the team through their tough times and got into the postseason.
They have valuable players outside of LeMahieu, though. Like
if
the
you take him
Angels
away,
don't have
though,
anyone. If you take LeMahieu away from the Yankees, there's obviously they get worse. LeMahieu's very good, but he's not as valuable to the team as Mike Trout.
He's not as good as Mike Trout is.
I don't think he's as valuable either.
Where is the value manifesting itself on the Angels? They're terrible every single season.
Just because they're not as good as the Yankees, then if that was the case, you'd give the MVP to whoever was the most valuable player on the best team. Is that what?
It's not. It doesn't have to be that black and white. Like, you can tell, how valuable a player is. It should be on at least a team that makes the playoffs.
I agree.
Like,
the
sure.
fact that it's multiple times now and they're not going anywhere. All right, just come on.
Just make it so, or just change the name of the award, because we do this every year. Value, they're not at valuable. Like, LeBron's the most valuable player every single year for the team that he's playing on. We've seen him go to Cleveland, leave, come back, and the success that has followed it. Just make it the best player award.
Last year.
Who?
Trout.
Yeah, no, he's won 3. He's like the second player ever to win 3.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the greatest players of all time.
Sure, absolutely. Make it just best player award.
His WAR is always the best in the league. If you want to get into a WAR conversation.
I'm not going there. I'm not touching WAR. Don't WAR me.
Simeon was in the conversation
for MVP.
Yeah,
Simeon?
he was a top 3. He was a finalist.
Is that a baseball player?
Yeah, Marcus.
I was like, what?
Marcus Simeon.
You want to talk about guys who? So what do you think about Marcus Simeon? He hit like 23 homers.
No, didn't he have like 35 home runs?
Yeah, everyone had 35 home runs.
Well,
So
guess
you're
what?
just lying?
The A's made the playoffs.
All right, the Angels were close.
I think it should be a requirement that you have to make the playoffs to win MVP.
If you're gonna win your third,
can't you be a valuable player to a bad team?
No, not valuable enough. Yeah, if you take Trout away, they would probably lose a lot. They would obviously lose a lot more games. Yeah. But there should be a requirement where like the value starts mattering. Like, it shouldn't just be, obviously they're going to be worse, but if the value isn't high enough that they can even compete for a playoff spot, it should just be he should be thrown to the side.
I think I'm going to boycott Mike Trout.
Do you agree with me?
I do. I'm going to make sure.
How valuable?
I'm going to make sure everyone knows.
Richard with all the baseball he watched this year.
Simeon hit 33 home runs, 92 RBIs.
Weird.
Batted.
That he was breaking his ankle against the Browns.
Batted 285.
He had great stats. He's a great player, but Mike Trout is more valuable than Marcus Simeon.
Simeon's team made the playoffs. His home runs and RBIs and average helped out the team more.
How many players can you name on the Angels besides Mike Trout and Ohtani?
Albert Pujols.
Okay.
Is Jared Weaver still on the team?
Yeah, in 2006.
Or is it Jeff Weaver?
I don't know. But my point is that
the team's terrible.
The team is terrible. And
for sure.
They're always floating around 500. They'd be nowhere near it if they didn't have Mike Trout. They'd be the worst team in the MLB.
So we're just giving out awards for getting your team to 500?
Most valuable player to your team.
But the value didn't do anything. It didn't accomplish anything for the Angels.
So you think it should be a requirement that you make the playoffs?
Yes, at a minimum, I think you should be able to get your team to the playoffs.
The voters don't seem to have the same opinion.
Well, you know what? They've also voted for fucking Soroka, so they're clearly not all on the same page.
I don't think there's any ulterior motive to vote for Trout. He's just amazing.
There's not. There's not an ulterior.
He leaves the voters with no choice.
I think that the award itself is just skewed.
This might have been his best season.
Okay, well, the Angels didn't.
You think he deserved it in other seasons? And then he went and had a better season than those?
I think DJ LeMahieu should have won.
Was he a finalist?
Yeah.
He's on the Yankees?
Bias.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's why you think he should have won.
No,
he had an amazing year, and he was clutch. He was runners in scoring position every single time he came through with a big hit. He was just the definition of a valuable player to a team.
I don't think you can say that Mike Trout isn't that. Just because LeMahieu's on a better team.
Well, not everyone can make the playoffs, and especially in the Western Conference of the NBA, not everyone can make the playoffs. And speaking of, there's a team that just today made a big push to try and turn their season around to make the playoffs.
Yeah, this is huge.
The Portland Trailblazers signed Carmelo Anthony. Yeah, Carmelo Anthony is
the West
now,
has been put on notice.
Yeah, the 4-8 Portland Trailblazers. That's why I say playoff
4-8,
push.
really?
Yes, they just lost to the Raptors.
The
Raptors. Let me just talk about them for a second. You saw that stat? LeBron went 5 for 15 or something. Kawhi went 2 for 11, and Lillard went 2 for 12. 3 games in a row.
Yeah, they are elite defensively, and I keep checking their I'm not tuning into every single Raptors game. I'm not going to act like I am, but I keep checking their box score because I know Lowry is down, Ibaka is down. Obviously, they don't have Kawhi anymore, and they just continue to win games against good teams. It's kind of nuts what they're doing.
They're really well coached, and
Siakam's legit.
Yeah, he definitely. I said last year I never would see him as a number one type scoring guy. I just thought he was a nice compliment to Kawhi.
You said 2 weeks ago you were asleep on him.
No, I was sleeping on him as a cool player because he's a herb.
No, I think
he's a
cool.
boss.
He's a noodle.
You like to see noodles. You were the
big guy.
Brandon Ingram's biggest fan.
Yeah, but he's Kevin Durant.
No.
No, he's nice though.
Playing like Kevin Durant.
He's actually hurt.
The wins.
They were playing the Clippers tonight. Do you know what happened?
Who?
The Pelicans, but Paul George was playing.
Losing.
And Kawhi was out.
It probably is a 10:30 game.
No, it was on. Clippers score.
The Knicks.
They lost to the Pelicans.
Wow.
Wow,
How'd PG play?
That's a big
He
score.
dropped 33,
Damn.
and Williams had 31, and
Who's the best
Drew
player on the
Holiday
team?
had 36. Nice.
Kawhi did not play.
No, yeah, he was out. All right, but we were talking about
36 for Drew.
Carmelo
Nice.
Anthony.
Frank Jackson. Is
look,
that the guy that went to? No, it's not.
I guess it's still early. I'm not gonna say swing for the fences, go for it, but what does Carmelo really bring to the Blazers?
Nothing. He doesn't improve the team at all.
Just to compare it to someone who was on their last leg and probably if they fucked up their chance wouldn't be in the NBA anymore, Dwight Howard. I don't see Melo being able to. He doesn't have those physical attributes that Dwight can just play defense, grab boards, and not give a shit. Melo's never been a defensive player. He doesn't really seem to have many defensive instincts. What is he gonna come bang mid-rangers? What has he done throughout his career that he can just focus on and be good for the team? I just don't know.
Look, it doesn't.
I don't think they're missing an instant scoring option. They have Lillard and McCollum.
Well, they're missing a bench for sure. They're 4-8. They're not looking great.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look, I get what you guys are saying. Melo is not going to really provide much to them. It doesn't change the landscape of the Western Conference at all.
No.
But it can't hurt. And you got guys I'm looking at the Trailblazers bench right now. You have Jalen Horde.
Okay, so
you have Moses Brown.
No,
that's Gary Trent Jr.
That's why
he's
I'm
better
confused.
than those guys.
I understand them signing him. Give it a shot, but
that's why I'm confused.
They're 4-8. They look really bad. They just lost at home to the very short-handed Raptors. I don't think Melo is changing much.
Yeah, and maybe they're not bringing him to be this one role type of guy. You do this and that's it. Maybe they do want him to come in and provide some sort of scoring punch, but when he tried to do that the last few times on any other team, he was obviously only brought anywhere to score, and he couldn't even do that.
Yeah.
Because he just does, his game just doesn't seem to adapt to off ball. He's got to have the ball. He's got to do his little.
I think he's a little humbled now.
Hopefully, maybe he could be. It's just you haven't seen throughout his career those type of little things for him to really hone in on and be all right, this is my job.
Yeah.
Because is he gonna shoot mid range? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He's good in the mid range. Is that what he's gonna do? But we'll see. We'll see how they try to use him. But
It's just like a no risk, whatever. Just try it out kind of move.
he should have been in the
It
league.
could
I do
spark-
agree. Like, there's no reason for
Yeah.
him not to be on a team. He definitely got a little scapegoated on the Rockets.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure. But look, at the end of the day, like if he can come in there and give them 10 to 11, 12 points
Mhm.
a game, just give him a scoring option off
well,
the bench.
That's another
Whatever.
another thing, like, because they don't seem to be that type of player away. You know, I feel like there could have been a better team that could have used that.
Yeah.
11 to 12 off the bench as opposed to the
That's
4
true.
and 8 struggling Blazers. Like,
That's true.
you bring Melo in, what does he really? He doesn't move the needle. He might be a nice complementary piece to a team that's already playing well. But
Like the Lakers could use him.
nah, they just have a logjam at that position. I think he could have ended up on the team if they didn't already have like Kuzma, Davis, LeBron. They all play forward.
Right.
Like, there's no minutes.
Right.
It's
But
just,
yeah, I do see that point. He probably would be better suited on a better team.
Mhm.
yeah.
But then you're running the risk of it like fucking everything
Yeah,
up.
exactly.
Yeah, it's clear that these teams, they put a lot of stock into, all right, what kind of attention is this going to bring to my team? And like you see it with obviously very different situations, but like you see it with Kaepernick, and you saw it with Tim Tebow when he was still trying to make the league. It's like, if this is going to cause some sort of big media frenzy and my team isn't going to get that much better, only get like marginally better, it might not be worth it.
Right. It's just figuring out if it's worth the headache or the media attention that's going to follow. Hey, Samuel's touchdown. Let's go.
Nice.
Connor got hurt. Good shit.
I'm rooting for you.
I didn't mean
Brian.
I didn't mean that, Connor. Get healthy soon. But
What happened? Did he like hurt the same injury again?
I don't know what happened. But I didn't know he was playing, so I started Samuel's.
Oh, okay.
So I was a little nervous, but he
Oh,
just
lucky
caught a
there.
touchdown.
Yeah, very lucky.
He's got 10 points.
14-7
Honestly, though-
Browns.
Oh, and I'm playing against James Conner. How about that?
Portland might be like the perfect place for him. Like, they always kind of fly under the radar, especially now that they're off to a slow start. Like, maybe people are like kind of forgetting about them. It's good if he's in a place where maybe he won't get that much attention.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe the
Up in the corner of the
but,
world.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's gonna be spotlight on him. You know, the first shot he takes, Melo's first shot in the NBA.
Oh,
Will be on
yeah.
House of Highlights. It'll be all. He'll still be getting attention, but
For sure.
I see that point as well. But yeah, so Melo finally made it, and I guess-
Speaking of big returns,
I was gonna say we should probably
We
move
got,
on to the other big news in the other sport.
yeah. So coming up on Saturday, we got
Oh,
Colin
oh.
Kaepernick working out for so far 11 teams
You-
confirmed.
You won't
Right.
find better segues anywhere
If I don't
than
see
the memo.
If I don't
Segue
see the
king.
Chicago Bears on that list by Saturday, I'm done. Because
A lot of people are saying that this is a publicity stunt by the NFL.
It 100% is, because if it wasn't, he'd just be on a team.
but do you think there's still
Why
At
do-
this
why
point,
do-
it would be worth taking a look at him.
do you think it's a publicity stunt along with there might actually be some serious suitors? Like they're like,
Yeah.
all right, we'll have this like
I don't.
Yeah, I think
public
it can be
announced
both.
workout
I
where
don't
it
think
looks
they
like
would-
we're helping him out, but
I think it could
I
be a
don't
little
think
bit of
they would
both.
do this unless they thought that somebody might seriously like consider signing him. And I saw some interesting points made on ESPN. What it looks like to, I didn't think of this. What it looked like to some analysts on ESPN was, these teams don't want to, normally when you work out a player, you bring him in.
Mhm.
You bring him into your own facility. And these teams don't want to deal with the backlash of, oh my God, the Bears are bringing in Colin Kaepernick.
Mhm.
Well, the backlash from the fans, the backlash from NFL fans, from Bears fans. So the NFL is going out and scheduling this workout for everybody to come see him on a Saturday when teams are traveling. Like, what GMs are going to be there? What
You can
head
send a
coaches are
scout.
going to be there? Yeah, you could send a scout, sure. Like, he might get signed.
Yeah, but when you saying that, making it such like a formal thing and giving the teams the opportunity to see him without having to bring him in themselves, from that perspective, it honestly sounds like a pretty good idea. Like, give everyone a fair chance. Like, all right, this is like you don't have to be worried about the media backlash of him coming to you. Just everybody can go. This is what he can do now. This is his talent. Make the decision. What do you want to do? It's giving him an opportunity.
I'd say
My problem with it is there are so many terrible quarterbacks that play in the NFL. a week in and week out. Terrible quarterbacks. I don't think many people need to see Colin Kaepernick work out to know that he's better than some of these guys playing. I really don't. So, like, this can only be a publicity stunt.
But, yes, but, like, kind of what we were saying with Melo, that is it worth it? Is it worth it to have him come in and be a backup? Like, if that media attention, that backlash, if he's not going to be your starting quarterback, why? Like, is it really that doesn't make sense to bring him aboard? You can get maybe a little bit of a worse quarterback to back up, because obviously, yes, he is better than a lot of backups in the league. But you can get a similar type of level with maybe a little worse without the media attention. So if you're going to sign him, I think it's because he should be the starting quarterback. That might take a little more analysis and scouting.
Yeah, I've been on record saying that I think a team signing Colin Kaepernick wouldn't only not be a bad PR move, but it would be a very good PR move. I think it might have the opposite effect. And I know a lot of NFL fans are middle American, like conservative views, and totally would be against this. But also a lot of people who are not tuning into the NFL right now, purposely like avoiding tuning into the NFL, are doing it because Colin Kaepernick got such a shit end of the stick.
Yeah, but that could go the other way. You could have like the stupid people that if Kaepernick gets signed, then they're going to turn it off. The point is that it's just super polarizing in whichever direction. Mm-hmm. And that whole thing.
If I was an NFL owner, I would want to cater to my like more sophisticated fans.
Definitely. If I'm one of these NFL teams like the Bears or the Broncos who have talent in a lot of other positions, but are really just being severely held back by the lack of quarterback talent, and I'm looking over at the Ravens and how they use Lamar Jackson, and I see a guy who was basically Lamar Jackson before Lamar Jackson, and I think
better arm,
offensive coordinator.
Yeah, who Greg Roman. Yeah, I'm like these teams with good defenses and
make that up right.
What?
He was his offensive coordinator.
I think he was.
Sounds right.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, maybe some of them are thinking, let's try and work this offense in with him and take advantage of that. And especially the team that I'm saying, the Bears, again, we've talked about Cam Newton going there, but they're out of first-round picks for a few years. They're not looking like they're going to be able to draft someone anytime soon. So
that'd be a great spot for Kaepernick to get
or Denver, I think. But they're a little
farther behind.
They just drafted Drew Lock.
I forgot about him, but yeah, a team like that, you know.
You got to think that Jay-Z and his involvement with the NFL has something to do with this.
Yeah,
that's
possible.
Which is interesting, because when the thing with Jay-Z happened, a lot of people were criticizing him, and my stance was just like, let's wait and see what he does. So I'll be keeping my eye on this.
Could you imagine if the way that Colin Kaepernick finally gets back into the NFL is because of Mitch Trubisky sucking? Like, that's what it took. Mitch, like, you can't get any lower than that, honestly. Just being like, all right, fuck it, I'll sign Kaepernick. You suck.
The Browns should sign him.
No.
Took that too seriously, but
no. I just
what are
like
some other places.
It's
that
tough. I mean, well, it depends on what they're doing in Tennessee and Tampa Bay with those two busts. Where they want to go. Tannehill looks like the future in Tennessee, though. But it's just like, for the Bears' perspective, the hesitancy to move on from Mitch Trubisky, like, to a point, I get it, because they invested so much into him.
Obviously, I get it.
Like, you got to just try to see it out.
He's so
Sometimes
bad.
You got to, instead of trying to hold out on a mistake and be like, I don't want to give up early, sometimes you just got to I fucked
be proactive.
up, and you just get it out of.
It's a sunk cost.
That's why I think.
Is he done? You think he's just never gonna?
I'm saying, if you do think that it's a sunk cost, and you move on as soon as you can.
Yeah. So maybe they don't think that. Maybe they just still are holding out hope. Could end up. Obviously, it looks like it's gonna end up being the wrong move.
I've had Allen Robinson on my fantasy team for all these years, and he always plays very well when Trubisky is out. The Bears play well when Trubisky is out. I'm out on Trubisky. He stinks. I agree. Love the Tar Heels, but you suck, man.
Yeah, listen. I'm not gonna sit here and defend the man. He doesn't deserve that. But at the same time, I don't think that it's completely over. I think it's worth seeing it out. Maybe give him the beginning of a next season.
Speaking of defending other men, the Jets owner this past week
What
came
happened
out and gave a
Oh,
pretty big defense of the current head coach, Adam Gase. And he said not only is he safe for the remainder of this season, he will be the coach next year. I don't get why he would.
I get it.
Maybe we're not firing him this year. He's our coach for now. And obviously we saw with McCagnon, he can change his mind. So I'm not taking anything he says at face value there. But just in the middle of a 2-7 season, and apparently he said it before the Giants game, so they were 1-7. And he announced it to the team, whatever. He said he liked the energy that the team had when he told them. But I get it and I don't get it. Like, I don't know why you endorse someone who's not. What if they just don't win a game the rest of the year? What if they go out and get blown out by the Redskins?
Yeah,
But
like you said, like shit can change. I don't think that word, like he didn't get, like anything can happen. Like he can still fire him tomorrow if he feels like it. But I think it's just like a vote of confidence and just kind of like, cause rumors have been swirling so much about everybody wanting Gase fired.
Mm-hmm.
Just letting Gase know, like, dude, like don't worry, like you're good. Just do your thing. Like we just hired you. I think there's something to be said for stability. And at first, like the roster is not, at all what it was expected to be in the beginning of the year. They were dealing with a lot of injuries. Decimated with injuries. They were left with a team that McCagnon built. So there's a lot of things that you can point to like kind of understand where the struggles have come from this season. Pinning it all on Gase while he hasn't looked like a great coach, obviously. But it's worth, giving him he's got to get a full offseason under his belt, get another shot with a fully healthy roster.
With a GM that they seem to be
they're on the same
agreement,
page.
But
it would be a mistake. And then you're going to hire another rookie head coach, give Darnold the third system in 3 years?
Yeah, but it's better. And the real reason my segue was not the whole defending a person. The real reason I thought of it was holding on to, because it's Christopher Johnson's first ever head coaching hire, so I don't know if he's just trying to be like, I'm going to wait this out and see if it works, because I don't want to admit that I fucking hired the worst person ever on my first ever try, You
got to give him at least more than 1 year.
I'll give him next year, and that O-line better have 5 new starters. Maybe Chuma Edoga can be a holdover just because he's a third-round pick this year, and he's been up and down, whatever. I'll give him if we have a good O-line and he's still bad, you got to go.
Yeah. He'll be on the hot seat all into next season if they start off slow, for sure.
Of course.
But you got to give him another year. I think it wouldn't be fair. It just doesn't. What's the point? It wouldn't accomplish anything, I don't think.
Yeah. Any other big news?
Jarvis Landry has the most catches through the first 6 seasons of all time.
That's crazy.
Well, in Miami, when Gase was head coach, they would literally force feed him the ball, like so many targets. That's why remember I would shit on him and be like, he averages 7 yards per catch because they would just throw it to him every play, behind the line, in front of the line, no matter where he was.
He's good. I think
he's good. I just didn't lie. That offseason, the Jets were looking to get some weapons, and people were like, Jarvis, and I knew he wanted a lot of money, and I was like, he's not the guy.
He's like a top option for your number 2 wide receiver. He's not a number 1,
no.
But if you have him as your second wide receiver, like
it would have been such a Jets
really
move to pay him a lot of money and make him the number 1, and he wouldn't be good.
Yeah, he wouldn't have been good.
But then they probably still would have hired Gase, and he would have been like, I love Landry.
He's a very good number 2 receiver.
Yeah.
What do you think about Adam Gase, Alex? I know you have a lot of opinions on the man.
Yeah. You can't be happy with what he's done so far this season. Like, good coaches overcome adversity, and they make the team better than the sum of its parts. He hasn't done that this season. That being said, I don't understand. One thing I don't understand is saying it this early, just coming out to the public, or he said it on like the sideline of a random like he didn't come out and say this in like a press conference, right?
He said it to reporters though, right? Because Rich Cimini, they were all the people that were tweeting and announcing it were like, Christopher Johnson just said this and that.
All right, yeah. So I don't get committing to it this early. Like, why just give why give up all the leverage in the situation and like leave yourself open to going back on your word and whatever? Like it's basically just opening yourself up to criticism. That being said, I understand giving Gase another shot because he just doesn't have a team this year.
I think it's more so, and I get that like it's weird timing. I think it's more so just to like put out the fire that everyone's been going crazy about. It's just
flew
like
a plane over the Hudson River, fire Adam Gase.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, I mean they did the same thing with Idzik. They got billboards and shit.
Yeah. It just kind of just like nips it all in the bud. Mm-hmm. Just like it's not happening. Talk about something else. Yeah. Don't like just stop this shit.
Keep the team's mind off of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We'll see. Fucking. If they don't beat the Redskins, Haskins has not looked good, so they better beat the Redskins.
He hasn't looked good. Concerned for him.
I mean, he's not in a good situation at all, but...
Terry McLaurin?
He's
that
good.
Guy.
Didn't they play together at Ohio State?
Yeah. Special player. I'm starting him this week.
He's definitely not in a good situation, though.
Did we have any stamp shreds for this episode?
I didn't come up with any.
Don't think so.
I had one I was going to surprise you guys with, but I wanted it to be like... after we did some real ones, so now I don't want to pull it out. And it wasn't like it was something I would have to explain, so I don't know if I should do it.
Just give it a shot.
Yeah, give it a shot. What's the problem?
It's about a movie.
Don't tease me like that.
Not a movie you care about. There's a movement, a current...
The Knicks have beat the Mavericks again.
Wow.
106, 103.
2 for 7 last I looked, so he must have not done well.
That's so funny. They beat him
33
twice.
Points, 10 rebounds, 11 assists.
He's so good.
Twice now. Wow.
That's
at the
so
Garden,
weird. They have 3 wins, and 2 were against Porzingis.
They booed him so loud,
yeah,
but everyone doesn't live in the moment and was on their phone. So
Jesus.
He was 7 for 17, 20 points, 11 rebounds. It's not. I mean, he's better than he's better than that.
He shoots 12% in the restricted area.
What?
I saw that today.
How's that possible?
He's just bad in the paint.
No touch.
He's just a soft idiot.
This is definitely, 7 for 17, 20 and 11. He's better than that, but I don't think it's like an outstandingly bad performance. Like it's just he underperformed a little. But like he could have done worse.
Yeah, no.
Marcus Morris hit a step back 3 to win the game.
For the win? Not buzzer beater, right?
It was tied.
Sorry, everyone.
These big men.
Wow. Nice
such
shot.
A Knicks thing to happen. Marcus fucking Morris hitting step back threes for the win.
He's been playing pretty well, I think.
He's always been good, but
Dennis Smith, 13, 8 and 6.
He wasn't playing for a little bit, right?
Flirting with a triple-double. He had like a death in his family or something. He was away for the team for a while.
Is Frank still starting?
Yes.
Does he still suck?
Solid 1 for 4 with 5 points.
Nice. Good for him. He's really coming through.
Yeah, but it is very funny that the Knicks seem to just be able to beat the Mavericks.
Yeah.
Twice. Porzingis must just be like, oh, God damn it, man.
Are there any surprises or
Nets Nuggets?
We talked about a disappointing Blazers so far. Any surprises for you guys?
The Phoenix Suns. I mean, listen, like, and I admitted this the other day. I really haven't watched much basketball at all. But I've been keeping tabs on the standings. The Suns are the 6th seed at 6-4 right now. They're looking pretty good. You watched the game the other night. What'd you see out of them?
They were. Everyone comes to play against the Lakers. Everyone wants to beat the Lakers. That's just been, even when they were bad, I feel like the most random. I'm telling you. The announcers talk about it. Every podcast I listen to, everyone knows, man. People want to beat them. Even when they were bad, the most random people, the most random players would just drop like 35, of course.
Because they had terrible defense.
Ricky Rubio always kills us. He never can score. He shoots 35% from the field. He doesn't try
against any other team besides the Lakers.
I didn't say
they were bad.
I just said he always kills us.
Teams probably went off a lot against them because their defense was terrible.
Yeah, but
and NBA players,
whatever. That's not the point.
Play hard every game.
Everybody on the team was just raining threes. Saric, Rubio,
good players.
Fucking Rubio's not a good shooter.
Team. Saric is solid.
No, he's good, but it was like
been playing really well this season.
He shoots 35% from the field every year. I don't care what anyone tells me about shooting. He's a good player. He shouldn't be raining threes ever.
But he was just on. It's not that he's like,
no,
I'm playing the Lakers. Let me try hard.
I'm not saying he's thinking like, I'm playing the Lakers, but he specifically always just goes off against us.
They were clearly the better team.
The Lakers?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they should beat them every time. But
Wow,
they
he
were
did.
they're
He
just
shot-
like they don't go away. You know, they hit a lot of threes. They hustle. They're well coached.
He shot
They're,
35% 3 years.
Yeah,
I think they're
always
playing
shoots
the
35.
Hawks tonight.
He's shooting 42
Kind of
this
an
year.
Is he now?
interesting game. Trae Young versus Devin Booker.
Yeah, Hawks and Suns. Who would have thought that'd be a good game
Yeah,
to check
no.
out?
Suns are up 101
And
to
honestly,
90.
the Celtics at only what are they 8-1, 9-1 now? They're
They're
a surprise.
9-1. What
And
the
they lost
fuck?
Hayward for how long is he out? What did he break his hand?
Yeah, I don't know how long he's out. I think it's
So-
like 6 weeks.
Yeah, so he was playing well too, like
Yeah.
really well.
He was doing very well.
But yeah, they look really good. I don't think they're a legit contender though. I don't think they seem to just be a well coached, well rounded squad. They don't really have like a a Giannis or a Embiid and
Tatum, what do you
really-
go 2 for 18 the other day?
probably.
Didn't somebody say that?
1 for 18.
1 for 18. That's impressive.
That's bad. But yeah,
Trae Young
Lights.
nutmegged the fuck out of Ricky Rubio. Did
Clippers
you
are
guys see
7-5.
that? Here we go.
That's surprising. I thought they would be better.
They just
And
got
they don't
Paul
have their
George back
second-best
today.
player.
Paul
They
George
don't have
just
their second best player.
So
they can be 7-5 with their star out.
I don't know.
And
The way
Kawhi's missed
everyone's
games.
talking about him, you'd think they would be
No,
10-1.
no, it's without Paul George, and
Yeah.
Kawhi's missed like 3 games. It's
They're
fine.
still a good team.
yeah,
Yeah.
and they have a good record. They're
They're
8 and
still a
5
good
now.
team, yeah.
Now
The
they're
Lakers
7
played
and 5.
without Anthony Davis and blew out the other team. So
Is this gonna be an all year thing with you
They
here?
Yeah,
blew out
obviously.
the Warriors.
yeah, the
the
Warriors
worst
are
team
so
in the
bad. They're
NBA.
so bad, yo. It's honestly they all look like D'Angelo Russell. First of all,
They're an
They're-
embarrassment.
They're 2 and
I
10.
hate watching them play. It's disgusting.
it's like they
It's
just
sad.
have no idea what basketball is. It's ridiculous. And Jordan Poole is the worst player in the league.
Poor D'Lo, man.
Yeah, that sucks for
That
him.
sucks. He thought he was gonna go play with
He's
like all
playing
these
well.
guys.
He's averaging all
He's
career.
making some
Matt
nice
and
plays.
Cornfeld were like,
Did
is this
he
guy gonna
jam it
come
in
to
LeBron's
play?
face?
And
He's
he's
the
fucking
only one
averaging
that can
career
score.
highs.
He's the only one that
Yeah,
can
but
score.
you guys were acting like he doesn't do anything. You were
he
like,
goes in
some water.
spurts before everybody got hurt.
what?
Get some water.
Phil, can you stig me over there?
No, there's still a little.
Well,
Try.
Is there water anywhere?
Nah. Do you want to? Can you fill this up? Would that be the worst thing you've ever done? Yes.
Forget it. What else can we talk about in the NBA? Trailblazers suck. The Nets are
Disappointing.
Wait,
What was I just saying about? Oh, D'Angelo Russell. He's you know what he does. He goes like fucking. He'll go off in a 10-minute spurt, and then he
That
won't
was
score
the
for
one
a quarter.
game when he scored. In
He
the
doesn't
first
do that
10
a
minutes.
lot.
He does. He goes on a lot of
His
players
whole
have
career.
streaks.
streaky.
Yeah, he's been streaky, but
He's a
no, he's
streaky
been
player.
playing
He'll disappear
solid
for
overall
quarters at a time.
games.
Yes,
Dropped
now he's
52.
he's the only player on the team that can score. The points are gonna have to come from somewhere.
No, but he's like, if you watch them play, he's actually like playing very well. He's running the offense. It goes through him. He makes a lot of really nice
He's
passes.
like far and away clearly the only one that's good on the team.
He's good. Yeah, no, he's good. Of
It's-
course he's good. I have nothing
sad.
against him. I like D'Lo.
Yeah. So, I guess there's nothing else. You want to go to the predictions?
Yeah.
All right.
We can jump
do
into
it.
some games. I did get the standings. I went back and I listened to the episodes and I found our standings. We have Alex leading the way at 14-10. We all went 1-3. No, we all went 2-2 last week. Alex is 14-10. Richard is 13-11, and I'm in the basement at 12-12.
Tight race.
Tight race, definitely. A lot of games still to be determined. There could be some movement this week. I'm feeling very confident.
Trae Young nutmegged Ricky.
Yeah,
Rubio.
he nutmegged the fuck out of him. So it's right now. It's anybody's ball game here. We
Well,
have
the Suns are blowing them out.
remind
so
everybody what we're playing for.
Booker's playing well.
Whoever comes in last place in the predictions, if it's me or Richard, we will be bleaching our hair blonde, which should be fun. And
Be
then
exciting.
if Alex loses, he's going to have to wax his chest 40-year-old virgin style. And let me tell you something. This guy's hairy. This guy's very hairy.
Very
You can
hairy.
tell just by looking at him. You can go look back at our old episodes. Literally, Jesus Christ was a feature on the podcast.
It was
basically.
unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Jesus Christ in a lot of ways.
I remember there was one week
Strictly
like
the beard.
when you looked at the last two posts on our page, like one was Alex with all his hair and beard, and the next one he was just clean shaved, short hair,
Completely different
completely
person.
different person.
He's a completely different person. You haven't had the beard in a while.
Yeah. Well, I have a job now, so.
They
Okay.
don't allow any beards.
No, they do. It's just like
Working for the Yankees.
professional.
Yeah, well, maybe you should change the norm.
You can keep
Maybe
it
you can
clean.
be
It
a
doesn't have to
leader.
look like
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
fucking Moses.
Yeah, maybe I'll grow it out. I just haven't felt like it. All right.
Yes, but I would love to see you get your chest waxed.
I won't.
I think this is the week where you go 0-4, find yourself in the basement.
Yeah, that's
Alright,
definitely
maybe.
happening. All right, let's
4
hear the
games
first one.
back. All right, so jumping right in, we've got 4 games this week. Honestly, not the best week for football, matchup-wise, so it was tough to kind of pick which games we wanted to do. But we'll start with a nice showdown of a couple young QBs looking really good. The Houston Texans going into Baltimore to play the Ravens. Take us away.
Great game.
Big game.
Wow.
Big AFC
What's,
playoff picture
what's
game.
What's the Texans' record?
6-3 against 7-2.
Mm.
Texans
they have a
are
bye
doing
last week?
Texans things, yes.
Ooh, wow.
This is a game where the Houston just gets blown out and
that-
reminds
that-
us all of
that's-
who they are.
That's really a Houston thing to do,
Yes,
right?
Yes.
Well, I'm gonna pick them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna go to Sean to make his case to be back in the MVP. I know he's in the MVP race, but it seems a lot of people. It's gonna be Russell Wilson, but people are talking Wilson Jackson.
Mhm.
I think Deshaun comes in, puts on a performance, and gets him back into that top 3 mix, and it's not a 2-man race anymore.
I think he's great. I like Deshaun Watson a lot. What I'm really looking at here is DeAndre Hopkins. He's having a very down year by his standards.
For sure.
He's got 100 yards in 2 games so far, 3 games actually. But sometimes like I'm seeing 40 yards, 41 yards, 48 yards, 55 yards. He's got 3 touchdowns on the season. It doesn't. I'm like I don't really understand why, because Watson's having his best year. But I'm hoping he can turn it around. He's obviously a great player.
Maybe.
I
Sorry,
think he
I
might
didn't mean to
just
cut
be
you off.
getting more attention.
Yeah, maybe it's a combination of Watson getting better, being able to spread the ball around, not only look to Hopkins, better receiving weapons. I mean, I know Fuller's banged up here, and then he's out, but he's still a good player. You know, they have Stills. And, yeah, just attention-wise, maybe he's getting that Julio treatment now, you know? I mean,
yeah,
think of all those fantasy years with Julio where you're like, why the fuck is it's because they triple team these guys and
Yeah.
they just
For
want to
sure.
take him out of the game. So
he's averaging 73 yards a game. It definitely is not like DeAndre Hopkins numbers. I expect him to. He'll have his game still. He's like nothing has changed with him. He's
Yeah.
still like amazing. But I think that. See, this is tough because Baltimore. I'm still like a little skeptical of them.
Me too. But
they're a good team. It's just how good, you know? Like, are
Yeah.
they just feasting on these terrible teams
They just
and then
destroyed
getting
the
some good wins
Bengals.
in there as well? And then it's just, you know,
Who
a
they
good
lose to?
combination.
Cleveland and who else?
Was it New Orleans? Did they play New Orleans? No, right? No, that was Dallas who lost to New Orleans.
I don't know.
The Chiefs.
Yes,
the
yes. Okay.
You know, it's gonna happen. Like Lamar just seems to be getting better every week. Like the Ravens look to be getting more and more dangerous every week. Eventually, a team is gonna come along and like put together a good game plan to stop Lamar Jackson. I think that's eventually it's gonna happen. I think it's definitely not gonna be the Texans.
Mhm.
They don't hang their hat on their defense. You know, it's
Bill
a-
O'Brien's a terrible coach.
Yeah.
Butt
Bad.
chin.
And he's more of an offensive mind, if I'm not
He
mistaken.
is. He's the offensive
I
coordinator.
don't think he's any mind.
All right. You got a scrap heap here.
Yeah, it's brewing. It's coming
I
up
think I
soon.
scrapped him once.
He should be on the lookout for a second
There's
scrap.
definitely a segment about him, and we pulled his picture up with his
Yeah,
His
chin.
his
butt
butt
chin.
chin,
I think we were
whatever.
just talking about hot coaches.
Yeah.
'Cause of Kingsbury, and then
That was an
you
interesting
mentioned
one.
he obviously was not a hot coach.
So I don't think it's the Texans' week to do that. And seems like in a lot of big games, the Texans don't show up.
Mm-hmm.
They beat up on their little AFC South rivals that aren't good. And then they turn around against the really good teams, which I think we're all in agreement that the Ravens are one of those. And they shit the bed. And I think that's going to happen this week. I do think it'll be a good game. It'll be. I'm excited to watch it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
2 MVP candidates going against each other. But give me the Ravens.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm going to take Baltimore, too, for the reasons you mentioned. I just don't trust Houston in a big game. And I joke around a lot with Bill O'Brien, but I do think he's a really bad coach, and it shows in these big games where he gets just out-coached. Every year they lose in the playoffs. They just really have never taken that next step with him there. So I think that he's holding the team back. But I like Baltimore a lot. I think that the way that they run their offense, what John Harbaugh is doing there, like
Greg Roman.
Literally, yeah, the two of them just designing an entirely new look of an offense around their quarterback. That's like it's working so well.
NFL player's dream.
Yeah.
Is to have a coach that
just it's
plays
all
to your strengths.
yeah,
not
exactly.
forcing you, pigeonholing you.
Yes,
And hey, it runs in the Harbaugh family, like we said. Kaepernick was Jackson before Jackson.
Yep, and they said that too. The John Harbaugh coming into this year, he was like, "We're going to be doing things that no NFL offense has ever done before." Like it's just they drew up this entire new system and it's been working. So I'm just going to keep riding with Baltimore. I think that they're doing really well right now, and I expect that to continue against Houston.
All right, next matchup.
Definitely game of the week, though, I think.
Yeah, I would say so too. Next match we have the New England Patriots going to Philadelphia to play the Eagles.
Ooh,
big game for both teams, honestly.
Yeah. New England got their first loss. Was that 2 weeks ago now, right?
Yes. Yep. Then they had a bye.
So coming off a bye. Yeah. I'm definitely gonna go because. I don't know. Philly was their kryptonite that one time, but they don't have Big Dick Nick. So.
Yeah, that's
I don't like. Yeah, the Eagles are too inconsistent for me. And the Patriots have the best defense ever. So
yeah,
gassed.
No, I don't think they're the best ever, but I'm.
They do have.
They don't even have the best defense in the NFL. San Francisco is better.
They do have
definitely could be true.
A very good secondary. Obviously, we've had conversations about Stephon Gilmore being a potential Defensive Player of the Year candidate. So that's the matchup I'm looking at. It's those Eagles receivers who drop a lot of passes against this really dynamite secondary. I just don't see the Eagles upsetting the Patriots here, even though it's in Philadelphia. Good home field advantage for them. But that Eagles secondary is terrible. The Eagles weapons are not so good. Give me the Patriots. I think Belichick will be able to outcoach Mr.
They really miss Deshaun Jackson, man.
Yeah, big time.
He was going to be huge for them.
He had a sick first game too.
Yeah,
and then he got hurt.
What is abdomen?
Yeah,
something like that. Muscle injury.
Hair on him.
I'm gonna take Philly. The only thing that scares me is New England coming off a bye because they usually never lose coming off a bye. If you give Belichick the reason that the Pats are good, more time to.
I feel like
more time to plan.
I feel like they might have lost coming off a bye last year, but let me fact check.
They never lose coming off a bye 2 years in a row, and I don't expect that trend to start now. Oh no, I do expect that trend to start now.
If they lost last year.
Yes. This will be the second year in a row. I like Philadelphia's offense. Say what you will, their receivers are not the best, but Carson Wentz is having a really good year. Under the radar, he hasn't really been getting talked about, but he's doing great. Ertz looked like he bounced back into form last week. Did Philly have a bye also?
No, they played the Bears. No, that might have been 2 weeks ago.
They did have a bye. I remember because I had Ertz. I
started
started Andrews because Ertz was on the bench on a bye. So that kind of nullifies the whole thing then, huh?
Not really.
They both had extra time. Yeah, they both had some time to prepare.
I think Philly is historically bad coming out of the bye.
That you made that up right there. Doug Peterson is a good coach. I like him. I think he's done well over there. Obviously, they won a Super Bowl. But I like Philly. I think that they can go shot for shot with New England on offense because Tom Brady isn't good anymore. And it's like it's a test for New England. They're 0-1 against good teams, as we know. They hadn't played anybody notable up to that
I
point.
don't think the Bills are a good team.
They are a good team, but they don't. The New England just owns them anyway,
Yeah.
so it's not like a real test.
Lost to them last year.
Did they?
In the last second. Or
That was Miami.
I made that up.
Who's
Wow,
also
Gase,
red
best
hot
coach.
right now. 2-game win streak. Watch out for Miami.
Who they beat last week?
The Colts. Watch out for Miami. You don't want to let them get hot.
You don't want to let
Don't let
Fitzmagic
Fitz
get in there.
Don't let Fitz get in there because then he'll blow it.
And
he'll
you know what?
disappoint
These last few games are prime Fitz. There's nothing to lose, no pressure.
Just let it fucking fly.
That's his time.
Just let it
playing
fly.
against him in fantasy this week.
Who did the Dolphins play? The Bills.
Ooh.
I think that's 3 in a row. It's in Miami.
That'll probably be a close game, in all honesty.
The first game was close for 3 quarters, and then Buffalo pulled away. I think being in Miami's the difference. You know, Josh Allen likes to party. He's going to be out late Saturday night.
You pick Philly?
Oh, yeah. Where are we going? I'm taking the Eagles. I think that New England is overrated because of their
Game that these teams who have been beating the Chiefs, they have the pieces or the piece to play that same style and win the game, which is Melvin Gordon, who went off against the Raiders.
He looked a lot better.
Really good. That being said, I think the Chiefs, this is like basically a must-win game for both teams, but the Chiefs have been struggling for sure. Even with Mahomes healthy, they're losing games, no matter how well he plays, and I think this is a huge game for them that they can't afford to lose. And I think they're the more talented team. Give me the Chiefs.
If the Chargers lose, their season's officially over.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick the Chargers for fun.
Wow.
Good man.
Because I like to spice things up. You know me.
Good man.
Yeah, I don't have much insight as to why. It's just division game, you know. There's always
Did we all take the Rams, by
Mason
the way?
Rudolph.
Yes, we
literally
all took the
sucks
Rams.
Dick.
But yeah, just because it's a division
Leave me
game, I
alone.
expect the Chargers to be able to keep up, you know.
I
get
think that
blown out.
there's something to be said about this home field thing in Mexico. It could be good for them.
You really want to move to Mexico, don't you?
Yes.
What are you writing down over there?
I'm just saving all of our picks so we remember.
Okay.
All right.
You have
so
nothing to add about
Chargers, Chiefs.
I think Bosa is going to have 2 sacks.
the game. Nice. I said that last week. He was quiet against the Raiders. It really hurts his
I
defense.
know. I feel like the Chargers-Chiefs games are always pretty. The past 2 years are always pretty good.
Well, the game that the Chargers won last year in overtime on that 2-point conversion. No, in regulation on the 2-point conversion, they had lost 9 straight to the Chiefs before that game.
Oh yes, I remember that.
So they're 1-9 in their last 10.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah, they always play each other really tough.
But it seems like the Chargers have their number now
Maybe
because
We'll
they
find out
won on a
Sunday.
last-second 2-point conversion in Arrowhead. I think it's going to be a good game. Monday Night Football.
Excited.
I think it'll be a good game too.
Excited
but
for it.
Mahomes will posterize them.
No. I dare him to throw at Casey Hayward. That guy's going to be on the All-Pro team for the 3rd straight year.
Is he?
So Mahomes.
Yeah. What's it doing for him?
He's one of the best corners in the league.
Could be.
Yeah, he's great. Great.
We're running low on our last battery here, so any
I
quick
think-
final thoughts to get in?
Jason Garrett is a shitty head coach.
I agree.
Okay.
They're never making it past the big
They
game
have
with him.
fucking Dak Prescott.
Oh, did you see that?
Yeah, Mason Rudolph sucks too.
That was a god-awful throw.
Nice tackle though. He might have more tackles than completions in this game.
He's pissed.
Yeah, well, he's playing terrible.
That was such a bet. Did you see that?
I didn't, but he made
Yeah,
a terrible throw before
here's
too, so
my
I'm not
stamp
surprised.
shred. The
Look at
Steelers.
this.
I'm shredding the Steelers in general. But Jason Garrett, I guess this is a kind of an impromptu scrap heap. But you got Dak Prescott, 2nd in the league in passing yards. You got Ezekiel Elliott, who everybody agrees is a generational talent at running back. You got Amari Cooper. I think he's 4th in the league in receiving yards. You got the best offensive line in the league. You got a top 10 defense. And why is this team 5-4? Why? Because
And didn't they
They
start?
had a
Did they
tough
start 3-0?
bonehead idiot.
They were 3-0.
Yeah, they were 3.
They lost to the fucking Jets. He should be fired.
They lost
They've
to the
lost
Jets.
a lot of one-score games.
Yeah, they've lost a lot of close games. They lost to the Jets. They lost to the Vikings. They lost to what was the other good team? They lost to the Packers. They lost to the Saints. Every good team they play, they end up losing. They play them close, but they end up losing. Jason Garrett, what are you doing, man? You got all the
Scrapped.
talent in the world. Get these guys to the promised land.
He's a bad coach.
If the Cowboys don't make a run to the NFC Championship game this year, they have to fire Jason Garrett.
They won't.
There's just they probably won't. But it's just fucking disappointing. He's like the new Marvin Lewis.
They play the Lions this week.
They should win that game.
They
Obvious.
will.
Yeah, like
They
Jeff
will.
Driscoll is starting, so
Is Stafford officially out?
I hope not. I
We'll
want to
see.
see him play. He's been having an underrated season. He's been great.
Stafford is the king of the world.
Okay, well, you
Warrior.
heard it here first.
Jason Garrett, what are you
I would
doing?
go to war with him over any general.
Interesting.
Bring me George Washington. I'll pick Stafford.
He's got a broken back. Does that change your mind at all?
Stafford?
He
Yeah.
looks like
yeah,
George
he'd
Washington.
play through it if he wanted. He looks like George Washington?
Yeah.
He does not.
You look like George Washington.
You look like Moses.
Sylvia.
All right, I think we should call it because the camera's going to die again.
Okay,
All right.
that's our show. Thanks
That's
for
our
listening.
show. Thank you, Them Seeker Studio, for having us. I wish you... What happened to the sign, the Them Seeker sign? I wanted to hang it up.
It's in where you have all the cushions for
Oh,
I heard
that's
this
a weird spot.
crispy Kernel sandwich is better than the
Don't
Popeyes
talk to me
one.
about any crispy sandwiches.
Is that a
All
KFC?
chicken sandwiches
Yeah.
are good. I don't care.
Yeah, but you won't have to wait on line for
Give
an
me
hour for
a
Popeyes.
McChicken and I'll have the same thing.
It's a little different.
Crunch chicken. What is the
It's way different.
Crispy
man.
Track
Crispy
snack.
chicken snack
crispy
wrap,
snack? Crispy
ranch all day.
Two different
chicken
things.
wrap snack.
All right. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you for tuning in.